such an asshole.
Hello, children. All right, we got some questions about motorcycles. I might know a thing or two about though. Hey Caps, I'm 27 years of age and I've been interested in motorcycles for a while. I decided to pull the trigger and sign up for a motorcycle training course. I mainly want to go cruising and just enjoy riding. So I have 3 questions. One, what would be a great beginner bike to start out with at a reasonable price given your experience with them? Two, which places are a lot more dangerous to ride in the long open roads, cities or towns? Three, I've already got my feet wet with this training course, but is this something you would definitely recommend for a single childless man of 27 years? It's about the time I started. A little bit. When did I start? 2004. I was 29. So yes, about that age. Make 70 grand a year and have no debt in anything. Is this ultimately something worth getting good at? All right. One, what would be a great beginner bike to start out with a reasonable price? Well, here's the problem. It really is height. That's why I asked you what your height is. You're 6'1". And so generally speaking, my beginner bike was a Ninja 250, which was great. I'm a small guy. It's a small bike. You would be crouched. You'd be like one of them circus bears, right? In the tricycle. That's how uncomfortable you would be on that kind of bike. You can do things to put pegs on put your feet up and all that. But honestly, I would not worry about well, okay. First, no American bikes. Okay. One, because Harley's going to break down on you. Two, they're overpriced. And three, Indian motorcycles, though very nice, also way overpriced, and you're going to crash it anyway. So I would go with Japanese bikes all the way. Great thing about bikes is everyone thinks they're going to want to do it, and then they have one scare. So you can usually pick up a cheap bike on the cheap, good bike as well used. You may have to go down to Florida or Arizona where, oh, Herman's retiring. I'm going to ride my motorcycle. Oh, I got crashed. Oh, no, you're 70% off. Take it off my hands. So for you, it's 6'1". It's whatever fits. I would go, you don't want any of these big ass hogs like a Vulcan or a Goldwing or whatever, Retro Glide or any of that crap. You want just a basic cruiser bike. There's many and all the different varieties out there, but you don't want a crotch rocket if you want to go cruising. You want to be comfortable. So I would just go down to a used motorcycle place and don't even ride them around. Drive around and take a little, you feel all right. If there's like someone's bike you could borrow, but just sit on them and all right, is this comfy? Lean back, wear your legs up on him, put the kickstand down, obviously. How bent are your legs? So that's what it's going to be. So you're going to be looking at, medium or larger. So Honda Shadow. I got an old VTX. I don't know if those were Honda Sabre. I like that. That's probably a little too small for you. Those are Hondas though. So any Japanese bike, go and sit. Now, another thing you can do is just to your very first bike. There's an argument. A lot of people say, oh, just get a used bike, good used bike. I wonder if you even need to get a good used bike. Like, why not just get a true piece of junk that runs and is safe, just so you make all your mistakes on it and kind of know what you want. We're talking like $1,000 piece of, like, you have no intention. Like, the next step is the junkyard. But if you're, responsible and you don't want to go through that hassle, I would say a medium-sized cruising bike, but it's all going to depend on you sitting on it and then driving it around a little bit. A lot of motorcycle places let you drive around, so you can kind of get used to it. But I'd take your safety course if you can. Take the second safety course so you get used to riding a bike. But yeah, you don't want to spend more than $5,000 on a bike right now. Absolutely not. You should be able to find a good, reliable used bike, even if it's danged up or scratched. You don't care. This is just your junker bike that you're gonna make all your mistakes on. and then oh boy, it's got a scratch. Chicks don't care. They don't know. They don't know. And you want to learn how to ride. Reasonable price, I'd say 5,000 max. You should definitely be able to, and be willing to drive. Be willing to drive. And if you don't know where to go, if you don't know about how do you find a vehicle, because apparently young men don't know how to do it, get Bachelor Pad Economics. I linked down to it below. I think it's chapter 10 about how to buy a car. Well, it's the same thing with a motorcycle. Be willing to drive out and try, because the going on in the South, all the old timers, baby boomers, they're so cute. I'm gonna ride a motorcycle and be like that movie with Dennis Hopper. Oh, there's danger involved. Oh, I don't want this bike anymore. You should be able to pick them up on the cheap down south. But not more than $5,000. 2, which places are a lot more dangerous to ride in? The long open roads, cities, or towns? Generally, major metro areas that are not absolutely traffic jam impacted. And it kind of goes for any vehicle you're riding. Like, oh my God, the traffic is in Chicago is so dangerous. No, it's not. You know why? Because you never go more than 10 miles an hour. Now, you can injure yourself going 10 miles an hour. You dip your bike on your leg. Yeah, it's going to hurt. You might break your leg. But where it's really dangerous is where there's enough traffic and enough people not paying attention, but there's not so much traffic. It's a traffic jam. In other words, traffic jams slow you down. Rush hour in a medium-sized town like, say, Milwaukee or St. Louis, and you're on the outskirts of the suburbs, that's dangerous because you're going 70 miles an hour, but there, all of a sudden traffic stops in front of you. Or more commonly, a teenage girl who's not paying attention and she's on her phone pulls out in front of you. So that generally is what's dangerous. The most dangerous part of the entire United States I've ever ridden in was the north side of Las Vegas, where Highway 15, there's like an intersection between 93, 15, and 95. And they got it all, and you're going northbound, and they got it all screwed up. If you want to go west, you got to exit east. If you want to go east, you got to exit west. So you're paying, and everyone is a foreigner. I don't mean out of country, although that too, but they're from out of state. They don't know where to go. People are drunk. They're like, absolutely, I'll never drive that stretch of highway 15 ever again. And if I ever do have to use that coming in from Henderson, what I will do is I will take 93 and I will exit up and drive through the crap part of town to avoid that interchange, because no one knows what the hell they're doing. So other complicated interchanges like that is something to look out for. And then always pay attention to when you're exiting off the interstate. Most exits off the interstate, you're supposed to exit at the same speed. You see the stop up ahead. You got yourself 400 yards, plenty of stopping distance right or left. You get into major metros or even not so major metros, like a lot of them are 180-degree turns. And because you're accustomed to exiting off of interstates at high speeds, you're not paying attention. Or you're paying attention to something else, and all of a sudden that thing turns around to 15 miles, and they don't tell you. I'm looking at you, Baton Rouge. I almost biffed it there. So every time you're exiting off the interstate, pay very close attention to where that exit goes. It's not always that nice, convenient up a little bit at an angle and over and right or left. And then the open roads obviously are the safest. You're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no traffic, but there you got to look out for animals, ranging from everything from a raccoon, a big enough raccoon could throw you off, or javelinas, those are down south, to obviously in the rest of the country, deer, your number one enemy. I almost hit an elk. There's no 100% place that's safe. Ideally, you're out where in the desert, where there's no foliage, it's flat, you can see all around you. That's probably the safest, because you'll see if a javelinas or a coyote is coming. I've never had trouble with that. Then you'd be like, okay, you're out in the middle of nowhere, but there's cornfields or trees, and you don't know if something's going to jump out in front of you, but it's straight and it's flat. And there ain't Bipsy, the suburbanite princess with dad's cell phone. Generally, don't ride at night. Do not ride at night. Absolutely not. And look out for vans and SUVs. Why? Because soccer moms are horrible drivers. People who drive SUVs are horrible drivers, male or female, but generally female. Look out for teenage. You can't really tell, so you got to look at the type of vehicle. Pontiac Sunfires, and used to be Chevy Cavaliers. Those are kind of no longer around. Just look out for that type of, but definitely minivans and SUVs. Absolutely. Absolutely look out for that. 3, I've already got my feet wet with this training course, but is this something you would definitely recommend for a single childless man of 27 years? Yes, absolutely. Motorcycle riding has brought me great joy and happiness in my life. 70,000 a year, no debt. Well, I mean, you're the ideal candidate. You don't have any kids or wife that depends on you. They depend on the government. See what I did there? Every guy should become a motivator. Oh, wait, I don't have a family or kids to support. That's the government's job. Wah! Um, is this ultimately something worth getting good at? Yeah, I'd say so. Just keep in mind, like you're going for distance, man. You're just going for a nice leisurely ride. You don't sound like the crotch rocket type, which is a different type of high. And I had a crotch rocket. But you just want to ride safe. And yeah, if you take it responsibly and you don't ride during stupid, like don't ride during rush hour in a not major metro. Again, New York, Chicago, LA, you're very safe. Everyone's going 3 miles an hour. You're not going to hurt yourself. Probably hurt yourself more if you're biking, pedal biking. But yeah, I'm trying to think, I live out in the sticks, so there's not a lot of traffic. I got a lot of deer though, lots of deer. That's the number one thing I worry about. But yeah, it's absolutely worth doing. Absolutely. All right. What do we got here? Any super chats? We got one. Hatton Clogs, $2, who lives in a great part of the country for motorcycle riding. Viva Las Vegas. He doesn't live in Vegas, but Vegas is, once you get out of the city, it's pretty good for motorcycle riding. Yeah, it is a good thing in terms of engine size. 1,000 cc is way too much. Way too much. 600, 500, 700. That's about where you want to be. Also depends on your valves. Like there are crotch rockets that 600 cc's, but the way more torque. Not to bore you, but for a cruiser bike, yeah, definitely keep it under 1,000. Definitely keep it under 1,000. Donna Hannaford, my Australian mistress agent in the field. BSA, Norton's, Royal Einfeld, Triumphs, great starter bikes. Well, yeah, you're still part of the British Empire. Even I got a 72 Bonneville that cost $2,084. Boomer Dad, too old to ride it now. Fun. Yeah, Triumphs are all right. Royal Einfeld, it's technically an Indian bike, not the brand name Indian made by Polaris, not American Indian, it's East Indian. India. They're made over there. Not the greatest quality, but they're not bad. Nice little cafe racer. Even those might be too small for you, though. Nonstop trade, $2. Can't only drive spider bikes and bigger. Hey, I'll take those spiders before I take a Harley, and definitely before a trike. Those spider bikes are the Can-Ams. Those are safer. Harleys, just no. No, I'm not. No. Don't get whatever you do, don't get a Harley. Just don't get a Harley. Wait. I mean, you could get a Harley that's like 2018 and later, and make sure it doesn't have too much computer stuff. So too bad for that. And wait for boomers to die off to sell it on the cheap. But they're over engineered and they're overpriced. Just get a nice Japanese bike, man. Just get a nice Japanese bike. You'll be all right. All right, there you guys go. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.